Welcome to Dragon Horde Gaming, and today we're opening a Commander Lorehold Legacies. Alright, we got our box here, back, and the sealed strip to pull. Reveal that mana symbol out with the card. Got the spin down life. Got the how to play and a story about the commander cards. Alright. Now to open up the cards themselves. Alright. Here we go. We got our over thick etched foil commander card. We got treasures, copies, golem, garbage. Backside we got Thopter, construct, and mirrors. Alright. There we go. We got Oscar the Reconstructor, cost 4 to generic red and white. Vigilance. Pay 1, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Pay X, tap, exile an artifact card with mana value X from your graveyard. Create 2 tokens that are a copy of that exiled card. Activate only as a sorcery. Alright. Okay, and we got... Sorry about the glare. We got Ollie, Ancient Witness, cost 5 through generic red and white. Other artifact creatures you control have haste. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, Ollie deals X damage to any target and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control. Secret I can't say that word. Rendezvous. Can't even sound it out. Costs... Oh, it's just an uncommon. Reconstruct history. Rip apart. Lorehold Campus. Study Hall. Darksteel Mutation. Dispatch. Dispeller's Capsule. Return to Dust. Sanctum Gargoyle. Faithless Looting. Quicksmith Genius. Okay, that. Thopter Engineer. Boros Charm. Arcane Signet. Boros Locket. Burnish Heart. Command Sphere. Hedron Archive. Ichor Wellspring. Meteor Golem. Mindstone. Mycosynth Wellspring. Pilgrim's Eye. Soul Ring. Unstable Obelisk, Ancient Din, Boros Garrison, Angel of Ruins, cost 7, 5 generic, 2 white. Flying, when Angel of Ruins enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target artifacts and/or enchantments. Plane Cycling, 2 generic. Archaeomancer's Map, cost 3, 2 generic and white. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic planes cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Reveal a land. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land card from your hand into the battlefield. Bronze Guardian, cost 5, 4 generic and a white. Double strike, ward 2. Other artifacts you control have ward 2. Bronze Guardian power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Dig Site Engineer, costs 3, 2 generic and white. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Excavation Technique, cost 4, 3 generic and a white. Demonstrate, destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Lorehold Clockwork Scholar, cost 3, 2 generic and a white. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking artifact creatures you control. Whenever one or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Monologue Tax, costs 3, 2 generic and a white. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you create a treasure token. Audacious Reshapers, cost 3, 2 generic and a red. Tap, sacrifice an artifact. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card into the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Audacious Reshapers deals damage to you equal to the number of cards revealed this way. Battle Mage's Bracers, costs 3, 2 generic and red. Equipped creature has haste. Whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, you may pay 1. If you do, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Equipped 2. Cursed Mirror, costs 3, 2 generic and a red. Tap to add 1 red. As it enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. Lelia, the Blade Reforged, costs 3, 2 generic and a red. Haste. When it attacks, exile the top card of your library. If you may play that card this turn. Whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your library and or graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Lelia. Ruin Grinder, costs 6, 5 generic and a red. Menace. When it dies, each player may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. Has Mountain Cycling for 2 generic. Wake the Past, costs 7, 5 generic and red and white. Return all artifact cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. They gain haste until end of turn. Triplicate Titan, cost 9 generic. Flying, Vigilance, Trample. When Triplicate Titan dies, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with flying, a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with vigilance, and a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with trample. Cleansing Nova. I think that's new art for that too. Cost 5, 3 generic and 2 white. Destroy all creatures, or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Rout, cost 5, 3 generic and 2 white. You may cast Rout as though it had flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. Destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated. Sun Titan, costs 6, 4 generic and 2 white. Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Chain Reaction, costs 4, 2 generic and 2 red. Chain Reaction deals X damage to each creature where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. Combustible Gear Hulk, cost 4. 6 for generic and 2 red. First strike, when it enters the battlefield, target opponent may have you draw 3 cards. If the player doesn't, you mill 3 cards. Then Combustible Gear Hulk deals damage to the player equal to the total mana value of those cards. Duretti Scrap Savant, cost 4, 3 generic and red. Discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. Sacrifice an artifact. That's first one's +2 loyalty, -2 loyalty. Sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. -10, you get an emblem with whenever an artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, now you're just kind of rebuilding Duretti's deck here, isn't it? You got Feldon of the Third Path, costs 3, 1 generic, 2 red. Pay 3, 2 generic and a red. Tap, create a token as a copy of a target creature card in your graveyard, except it's an artifact, addition to its other types. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Kite Igniter, costs 7, 5 generic and 2 red. Flying haste. Pay 2, generic and red. It gets X plus X plus so until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Hellkite Tyrant. Whenever Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. Horde Smelter Dragon, cost 6 for generic 2 red. Flying, pay for 3 generic and red, destroy target artifact. Horde Smelter gets +X +0 until end of turn, where X is the artifact's mana value. Puyallup, cost 3, 2 generic and red. When she enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Slaughter artifact creature token with flying. Pay 2, a generic and red. Target artifact creature gets +1 +0 until end of turn. Pay 1 generic, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. Kadeem the Prevailer, cost 5, 3 generic, a red and a white. First strike, Metalcraft. Creatures you control get +3 +0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Bosch Iron Golem. Yeah, this is the three commanders from the red commander deck with Duretti are all in here. Cost 8 generic. Trample. Pay 4, 3 generic and red. Sacrifice an artifact. Bosch Iron Golem deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to any target. We're going to get Coral Engine in this? I doubt it. Duplicant, cost 6. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-token creature. As long as a card exiled with Duplicant is a creature card, Duplicant has the power and toughness and creature types of the last creature card exiled with Duplicant. It's still a shapeshifter. Key to the City, cost 2 generic. Tap, discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. When Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Mirror Battlesphere, costs 7 generic. When it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. When it attacks, you may tap X untap mirror you control. If you do, Mirror Battlesphere gets +X +0 until end of turn, and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Scrap Trawler, costs 3 generic. Whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser mana value. Sculpting Steel, cost 3 generic. You may have it enter as a copy of any artifact on the battlefield. Solemn Simulacrum, cost 4 generic. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When it dies, draw a card. Steel Kite, cost 6 generic. Flying, pay 2 generic. It gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Pay X, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X whose controller was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate only once each turn. Steel Overseer, cost 2 generic. Tap it, put a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature you control. 1000-Year Elixir, costs 3 generic. May activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Pay 1, untap target creature. Battlefield Forge, taps for colorless or taps for red and white, and it deals 1 damage to you. Exotic Orchard, add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Slayer's Stronghold, tap for colorless, pay a red and a white and tap. Target creature gets +2 and 0 and gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. Temple of Triumph, enters battlefield tap. When it enters, scry 1, pay a red and white. Taps for red and white. Command Tower, Darksteel Citadel, Forgotten Cave, Great Furnace, Myriad Landscape, Phyrexian Core, Rogue's Passage, Secluded Steppe, Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, Temple of the False God, and then on to the basics. Alright, well that was the Lorehold Legacies deck. I hope you enjoyed the opening. If you did, hit that like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in my next video. Good luck with the openings, and goodbye.